How much to charge for speaker fees? This is important for me to tell you because nobody ever told me how to do it. So this will cut the curve for you as a speaker, and I hope that it's helpful. Actually, I'll be candid with you. This is absolutely forbidden by an association I belong to called the NSA, National Speakers Association. The only reason it's forbidden is when we have meetings about it and we talk together, we never talk about fees. That's why I'm sharing it here on my channel with you. My name is Jason Hewlett. I've been a professional keynote speaker for the last 20 plus years. I'm now in the Speaker Hall of Fame, and I'm an award-winning entertainer. I'm excited to share with you between the world of entertainment and speaking as to how I came up with my speaking fees, and I hope this helps you. And by the way, I want you to know these are not hard and fast rules. You just kind of have to improvise and figure it out along the way. But this will be hopefully a structure for you to figure out, okay, this is what I know Jason said in that video, this is how I can move along in my charging structure. So just so you know, it's not a rule. There is no rule to charging. You just have to start to do it. And we'll do that in this video. So before we talk about being a speaker who charges fees, I have to tell you about the beginning of my career so you can understand where I'm coming from. Because whatever your background is, maybe you're in sales or leadership or management or HR, wherever you're at, and now becoming a speaker, I want you to draw on that experience from the past. Here's the thing, I started as an entertainer in Las Vegas. I was doing a one-man show of comedy, music, and impressions. And so I started as an entertainer having to figure out how to charge fees. That was really tricky for me. Eventually working my way from entertainer to speaker, which I now am, and I charge a lot of money for it. I'm gonna tell you pretty soon what I do charge right now, and hopefully it'll continue to grow from there. But here's what I want you to understand, that every single one of us needs to first get so good that we can charge a fee. If you're not good, no one will ever want to pay you for what you do. So first of all, you need to be good. You need to improve. You need to have opportunities to speak, of course, and I talk about that in other videos that we've made previously. I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and go check them out. But I need you to think about how good you're getting as a speaker so you can start to charge a fee. So really, you just need to charge nothing at first. Honestly, just go out and do as many freebies as you possibly can. And then you might get brave enough and start asking for expenses. Travel, those types of things, where you might only say, hey, if I get $100 to drive there because of the gas cost, then they go, oh, that would be nice. And then eventually, when you get brave enough, you can work up to actually sharing your fee. So at first, when I was doing events just for free, I started to get brave and I would ask for $50 for gas, then $100 for gas, then eventually $200. Then I got up to $250. Then I would fly somewhere and I would ask for that flight cost. So it was about $500. I would ask for expenses, and that made such a difference because then I thought, oh, I feel like I'm actually earning something, even if it was just paying for me to be there. You ready to find out how much I charged for the first time I ever got my fee? You ready? $100. Yeah, $100 over 20 years ago. I was asked to sing one song and it was a minute long. And it was Alvin and the Chipmunks' Christmas song. You remember that song? You didn't pay me $100 to hear it, but I'm gonna sing part of it. I went, Christmas, Christmas time is near, time for toys and time for cheer. And everybody loved it. I got $100 for that. Can you believe that someone give me $100 for that? I know, it's so silly. But guess what? That was the start of my career in saying, oh my gosh, I can make $100 in a minute. I'm in. And that began my career of charging. And I was able to confidently say, when someone would say, hey, what do you charge? And I go, $100 per minute. And they were like, whoa. And I was like, I know. So eventually I worked up from $100 to then $300 and then $500 and then $750 and then $1,000. You see where I'm going here. The pattern is quite familiar. But I had to work my way up by becoming better at what I did. You see, I used to joke that I made $100 a minute, but in reality, I was just trying to get $100 for the gig. And when I became brave enough, I would say $300, $500, $1,000. You know, it's almost like I'm throwing this idea at them and they would give me that money. It was fascinating though to watch that people would actually say, you're worth that. And if I believed in my voice that I was worth 1,000, they'd give it to me. And so for this one, I want you to practice saying your fee. All you have to do is practice by looking in the mirror, maybe recording yourself on a video, saying it into a phone, talking to your spouse, telling it to your boss, whomever. I want you to be like, I charge $1,000 when I speak. I charge $1,000 for every presentation. However you can make it so it rolls off your tongue. That's extremely important. And what I want you to do as well, if you would, I would love you to engage with me on these pricing points right now, because maybe you're sitting here thinking, oh, that's not that much money. Or you're thinking, man, that would be incredible. I would love for you to type in the comments, if you would, what is the most you've ever gotten to speak? I just want to see what you write in there, because that to me is fascinating to find out more about what other people make and do. And we're going to talk more about that in just a moment. So number 6, I like to say, what are you worth? You know, when you think about how much of your time it takes to prepare, to get there, to put it all together, to become better at what you've worked on. Maybe you've invested in coaching, maybe you've created a website, maybe you've done video work. My goodness, you've invested a lot of money. So what are you worth? What is it worth it to you in order to sort of step away from what you're doing right now, whether it's a full-time career or just becoming a new hobby that might become a career? How much are you worth? And so the next thing I want you to do is what everybody probably in the history of the world has done when it comes to what should I charge for speaking. I want you to type into a Google search the name of a speaker. And all you do is you type in their name and then you say, like, for example, let's say my friend Mel Robbins. You know Mel Robbins? One of the great speakers out there. Okay, Mel and I used to be represented by the same agency over a decade ago. She's incredible. She's now exploded. So all you need to do is type in Mel Robbins appearance fee, or Mel Robbins speaker fee. You're going to be blown away, because Mel Robbins is, I think she's in the 6 figures right now. I haven't looked it up in a while, but that's what's so fascinating for all of us to check out what other people are doing. So if you know a local speaker that's in your National Speakers Association chapter, for example, and hopefully you belong to that, that's very important. But I want you to type in their name and then speaker fee or appearance fee. You're going to be blown away by what people get. And you might even be surprised, because you might think, oh, they're only $5,000? I thought they'd be $10,000. And then that might give you the courage to charge a little more if you have the experience. It might also say to you, oh, maybe I shouldn't charge as much because I don't have as much experience. And so do a Google search of somebody you really admire who is a speaker making it right now. So as a corporate entertainer is where I began. I noticed a bit of a discrepancy between what a 9 p.m. entertainer was making versus a 9 a.m. speaker was making. You see, a 9 p.m. entertainer, I worked so hard to get my fee from $1,500 to $2,500 to $5,000 to eventually $10,000. I would get $10,000 for my 1-hour performance that killed. Like people screaming, laughing, standing ovation, invitations to come back and do it again every single year. $10,000. Remember, I was not a celebrity. And so celebrities get a much higher fee. I was just this really great entertainer who did something really good on stage at 9 p.m. for a corporate event. 10 grand was the most I could get in that capacity. The discrepancy was 9 a.m. keynote speaker. This blew me away. I saw that keynote speakers were getting anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 for a speech that didn't even get a standing ovation. And I remember thinking, what's the problem here? Now, that's not the only reason I changed my career, but it's a big reason that I decided to transition from 9 p.m. entertainer to 9 a.m. leadership keynote speaker. You see, I had to then transition from 10K guy as entertainer. I went now to keynote speaker. I had to kind of start again. I started in the hundreds and then worked my way up to the 1,500, 3,000, 5,000, 7,500, 10,000. Once I got to 10,000, I was still an just okay keynote speaker versus the great entertainer I was at 9 p.m. 9 a.m. I was still okay at 10K. When I got some coaching, I got a little better. 15K. Now 15.5, 17.5. Whoa, I'm working my way up. 20, 22.5. Guess what? As of the recording of this, I charge $25,000 for a keynote presentation, plus $1,500 to travel. That's pretty cool. And you know, it's a miracle. But I want you to realize that you're not just going to start at 25K. You're going to start down here and work your way up. And down here is awesome. Remember that. $1,500 to speak, awesome. $5,000 to perform, amazing. $10,000 to entertain people, are you kidding me? Amazing. $25,000, that's where I'm at right now. I hope that it continues to go up. Some of my friends have passed me way up. They're in the six figures and it's so awesome to see. But that is some of the structure of what you need to charge and how you can charge and the way that you climb that ladder. This is absolutely forbidden that I'm talking about this, but I thought you should know because no one ever told me. So here are a few bonuses that I thought would be important for you. First bonus is that you can charge a travel stipend fee on top of your fee. So I told you I'm $25,000 for a keynote. I charge a $1,500 stipend for travel. That means that if I go anywhere out of state, whether it's $1,500 or it costs me $750, I'm going to still make that $1,500. That's important because there will be some occasions where I'll spend $3,000 on some events. And so the ones that didn't cost as much to get there, they'll all even out. So it's a very integrous way to do travel and stipend charging for that extra fee. There's a little bonus for you. Another bonus is that you need to double your fee for international events. So if I get a call from another country that's not just Canada or Mexico, but like far, far away from the United States, I'm going to say my normal fee in America is $25,000. But if I have to fly all the way to Japan, it's $50,000. It's usually quite the pill to swallow for the event planner. They're not expecting you to say that, but you have to at least throw it out there that you need to double your fee in order to justify traveling that far, spending that amount of time. Bonus 3 is sometimes you can negotiate for trade. I've shared some of the trade that I've done in the past on other videos, so like I say, I hope you'll subscribe and watch some of my other fun videos. But negotiating for trade is really a fascinating thing, because you can actually get on top of your fee even more of what you want. So for example, if somebody says, hey, I can't pay you $25,000, but I have $17,000, I say, okay, well, let's work with that. You have $17,000, what could you make up the difference with? And then we start to talk about negotiation and trade. There are things that they can trade me that I might like. For example, if I like their products, if I like the cookies their cookie company makes, or if I like, imagine $7,000 worth of cookies, then it becomes a way that I can gift those to other people. But I like to do negotiations. I like to do some trade. It works out really nicely for my family. Bonus 4 is when do I raise my fees? Well, that's up to you. So when I was at $1,500, why did I feel I needed to get up to $3,000 or $5,000 or $7,500 or $10,000? A lot of it depends on your health, your time away from family, how good you've become, what the market demands. Maybe even you're being referred by other speakers who charge a higher fee than you do, so they can help you establish a new fee by saying, he charges as much as I do, and then they refer you. There's different ways about making it work. But I know that I got from $15,000 to $20,000 to $25,000 through the pandemic years. That means that at that time I found out I could get $15,500 on camera doing a virtual event from my house. And at the same time I was charging that for being live on stage anywhere in the country. And that's when I realized I need to raise my fee. So because they would pay me $15,000 for camera work, I now could do $25,000 in person. That's how you determine when to raise your fee. I hope that this has helped you. I've gone to a forbidden place in terms of speakers, and so I hope that's okay. But I want you to know no one's ever told me how they've done it, so I thought it was important to share with you how I've done it. From the entertainer world to the speaker world, this is the fee structure. This is how I've run it for myself. I hope that as you establish for yourself how you can come up with your fee structure, that it will work for you as well. I would love for you also, if you wouldn't mind, to please put a like. It would be so awesome to stay engaged with you. Thank you for joining me on this page today. I'm Jason Hewlett. Good luck charging those fees. You'll do awesome.